If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good night's sleep.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're joined now by Steve Cleveland, former BYU basketball coach. Steve, good morning.
Good morning, fellas.
Donovan Mitchell. Utah can't take their eyes off of him. What could have been? How good could he be? He's in a conference final for the first time. It's not the big prize, but it's an important prize along the way. He's got to be feeling pretty good. How impressed were you?
Oh, amazing. I mean, he just has so much confidence. And, you look at them against the Pistons in Game 7, and he goes 26, 6, and 3 at 29. I mean, He's just playing with so much confidence and playing. He's taken this team and will continue to take this team on his shoulders. And just watching the games and just listening to the different broadcasts and people, and everybody's pretty excited about what he's doing. And obviously he's surrounded with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley and James Harden. As I just watch this unfold, I'm sitting there thinking to myself that here's James Harden, who was, the kingpin in basketball for a long time, and now he's taking a more of a simpler role and not nearly as impactful. And but with that group, between Max Strus, Mitchell, Harden, Mobley, Jared Allen, they become a really, really fine-tuned team, and it's fun to see that. It's fun to see Donovan Mitchell have success, and even the guy like Sam Merrill, who makes contributions to this team, a local product out of Utah State, and it's fun to watch. Hopefully they'll continue to play that well, and we'll see what happens here with East Finals and against the Knicks.
It's amazing to me, you brought up Sam Merrill, to think that he's going to have a better NBA career than Jimmer. It just seems shocking. But at the same time, that's where we're at, and it's a real credit to Sam to find a role and just fit that role and play it.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's any question. And I've watched him for a number of years, and he's kind of gone unnoticed and under the radar. But he's just played well, and it's fun to see what he's doing and what's going to happen here in the playoffs. It's going to be exciting to watch.
You consider these two series toss-ups? You think somebody's got a decided advantage in these two conference finals?
Oh, you know what? It's hard for me to think that the Knicks are not going to win the East. I just feel like obviously they play the Sixers, and that was a joke. But at the end of the day, my heart tells me a little bit that the Knicks are going to be really tough to beat in a series like that. But my heart says go Cavs. And we'll kind of see what happens.
My last opportunity of the year to talk to Kevin Young this season, when I say year, I mean season, we're in the hallway up there in the Moda Center in Portland, right? And he says, he's talking about building his team for next season. And he said, and this is going to be a Jazz-related question, just to give you a heads up, that to him, the Holy Grail is shooting, right? And it stuck with me. And he said that, and there's a couple other media guys and myself were just kind of casually talking to Kevin as he's wrapping up the season. And so he's talking about what he wants to do going forward. And he said, literally says, the Holy Grail, he used that phrase. And so now, with the Jazz and their perspective, David Locke, who we all respect his basketball mind, he's really nervous about Dybantsa's shooting ability, right? Because he seems like he's got everything else that you would need. length, athleticism, desire, work ethic, blah, 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 right down the list, right? But the shooting in a league, in a game, not just a league, in a game where shooting has become so paramount, he's nervous about it. And I get it, right? I understand that. My thought for you is shooting, and what do you think of him, and how much can guys improve their shooting? Because the kid is still only 19 years old.
Well, the first thing I would tell you is that the amount of time that he's going to put into this process is going to be unlike anything he's done at any other time. I mean, it's one thing as a collegiate player, and you get better on your own, and you have coaches working you out. But getting to the next level and getting to the NBA and putting yourself in a position with multitude of coaches and just the details of improving shooting, he's going to spend more time in the next few weeks than he has in most of his first year as a collegiate player. And so I'm not too concerned about that. I mean, he's got a great mid-range game, and I watched him play pretty much every game. And there were nights that he hit threes and shot the ball well, and there were some nights that he won't. But I think his mechanics are good enough that he's going to continue to get better, and that he'll have more confidence, and he'll be surrounded by people helping him get better. I just don't see that as being a big problem right now. Well, we'll see. We'll see where he ends up playing and what ends up happening and whatever the circumstances are. But I love this guy. I just think he's got a sense of where kind of he is all the time. One of my favorite books growing up was a Bill Bradley book. Well, nobody in this broadcast probably knows who he is, but he's a guy that was with Princeton, and it was a sense of always knowing where he was, and became a great shooter. And I think AJ has a sense of where he is when he's on the floor, and whether it's in the paint, whether it's in the perimeter. I just see him getting better, and I just don't think that's going to be an issue. The fact that he is a great mid-range shooter doesn't mean that he can't be a great three-point shooter. And I think he's going to be surrounded by really, really smart people that will get him to a position, because once he stretches the floor to the three, and I know the NBA three is different than the collegiate three, I think he's going to be really special.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Do you love the phrase, the Holy Grail is shooting, or as a guy who hired one of Rick Majerus' assistants and changed the way they defended and got the opponent's shooting percentage down to 40% or even a little lower, and suddenly you're an NCAA tournament team and the rebuild it was like jet fuel to your rebuild? Would you argue with shooting as the Holy Grail?
I have believed this and always believed that defense wins championships. And I just think that, yes, and it differs. I mean, you got high school and collegiate. You got the NBA. You got different levels and different advantages and circumstances that surround being great shooters. But I just think that in my experience, that teams that defend and continue to defend consistently are always going to be competitive. And I know the NBA is different than the college game, but I still do believe that even in the NBA, when you get down to the grind of an Oklahoma City who was outstanding and but maybe back-to-back champions this year, I do believe that it's defense that makes the big stops, that makes big plays, and that's where you win championships. And it'll be fun to watch this NBA and what takes place. But in my heart and mind and everything that I did for 35 years of coaching, that was always kind of our motto and our, where we stood our ground. And that was, we got to defend, we can get stops and get to the free throw line. Those are teams that win championships.
Where do you see Dybantsa leveling out, say, at a percentage of three-point shooting? The closer, obviously, you can get to 40, the better you are.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. And, we've watched AJ at the collegiate level, and we know what he's capable of doing. I just don't see I see him being successful because of the ability that he does have to get into the mid-range game, to step out and hit threes. And I know that it'll take time. And nobody jumps into the NBA typically and has a huge impact. He and Peterson are, two of the bright spots, and as they go forward here with the draft and what it ends up looking like. And you can make arguments for either one. I just like AJ because he's so strong and gifted, and he's always in balance. He's not off balance, but he can make the Euro steps. He's really good at that in terms of getting into the mid-range game. And we'll just have to see what happens with three-point shooting. I'm not sure what his percentage ended up being collegiately. You guys might know that. But the shot doesn't look broke. It looks like he's got good rhythm, and he finishes it, and it's high. He's got the ball high in his hand. I think he's going to be just fine. And, again, the transition from college to the league, that there are some, there's some differences, and there'll be more size on the floor than he's used to dealing with. But if I'm going to pick him or Peterson, I'm taking AJ. I just think he's physically tougher and has the ability mentally, I think too, that he has an advantage over Peterson. And Peterson's going to be a really good pro, and he may be an NBA All-Star for years, but they're both really good players. Peterson does have an upside in size and length, but I'm going to stay with AJ.
You're not even putting Boozer into the discussion. He's a clear-cut third pick to you?
Yeah, I think so. And I've watched them play more than I thought I'd ever watch them play. And, he's special too. It's interesting because there's a young man that his family lived in Fresno and for a period of time. And so as I kind of evolved from living in California and coming here and, following the league and being in Utah and following the Jazz, Boozer is really talented and maybe have a greater upside down the road. We'll see. But I like AJ. I think Boozer and Peterson are both great. I think all three of them are going to be great pros. We'll see how it unfolds. You never know. Injuries are things that are always unexpected. Hopefully they'll stay three guys that will stay healthy and have long careers in the league.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you, too, as far as Dybantsa, but I just wonder in my own preference and bias just how strong that is, because I saw him play in person a number of times and obviously on television 3 times the amount on that. And that mid-range thing, to me, is so impressive that I'm talking myself into just like worst case scenario. Like if he can't shoot the 3 and it's really just in the 20s, okay, but then fake and get to the line and then just rise above everybody else and make that shot. Or do that Euro step. I keep joking that he ought to go in the Olympics and do the triple jump because his strides are like 8 feet per stride, it seems. And, he's such a high flyer that I think that, to me, he's the guy. But then, this shooting, and I keep hearing, it's like I can hear Kevin Young and I can see, Holy Grail. Holy Grail, PK. Holy Grail. And obviously I have an enormous respect for Kevin Young's basketball sense and his acumen, right? Because he's been there. He's been at a much higher level than I'll ever be. And so I'm conflicted. But in the end, I think I would I don't want to say roll the dice because it's too important to roll the dice. I don't want it to be a gamble. I want it to be somebody that the Jazz draft, plug in, and is good for the next decade. So I do have a little bit of conflict going on in inner turmoil.
I get that, and I think that when we look at Boozer and we look at AJ and we look at these guys, I I see that, in terms of they're going to have to step up, and Peterson, I think is actually maybe the better shooter of the three, and we'll have to see how that unfolds too. But the one thing that I really like about AJ, again, is the substance to his game, the maturity of his game. He just is an elite athlete, and he seems to really have his head on and straight, and he doesn't force stuff. He doesn't try to make plays. He takes what he can get, and you mentioned it, his Euro step and all the ways that he can get into the mid-range. But this we all will agree on. For him to be an elite player at the next level and play for 10 or 15 years and have an impact in that league, he has to become an elite three-point shooter. You cannot get this done without it, and so I say that, I leave that little caveat because I believe that he does have that ability. But for me, that's my number one focus as I watch him develop, is that can he shoot from 23, 25, 26 feet, and is he comfortable doing that? I've watched him play in college just like you guys have, but I think if there's anything that he still needs to take to another level to really have an impact in the league, he's got to be a guy that can knock shots down from 25 to 30 feet. And I'm not suggesting the contested shots. That's not what I'm talking about. When he gets a catch and there's one more and he's ready to shoot it at a distance that's significantly farther out than it is in college, then that's what you really have to look at in terms of where can he be at the next level.
PK was just throwing out numbers, but let's just go with it since it's a number you threw out in the 20s. He won't be able to fake and go by anybody and get to the mid-range if he's shooting not only in the 20s, but I even think in the low 30s, because they're just going to sit back and wait for him 15, 18 feet from the hoop, wherever he establishes that he's really good from. So in my mind, if he can get it over 35, then you can start to work with it. And obviously if he gets it to 40, then he's going to have an unbelievable career and unbelievable stats because all the other stuff is there. But he's got to get it to 35. He's got to get it to 35%. And he didn't in college. It was only 1 year, but he shot 33%. Now, we did see Igor left BYU and went to the Nets, and he started figuring it out. So it can be done.
The thing is, I think it can be done. And I think the amount of time that you're dedicated to and the amount of support and coaches and staffs and all the things that come with that, I'm going to be surprised if he doesn't become a 35 to 40% three-point shooter. Like you mentioned, Igor, I think that you put the time in and you're surrounded with people and pros that help you, great coaches, assistant coaches. He's going to have more help and more support in becoming who he wants to become and who we'd like to see him become than any other time in his life. And so my feeling is the upside of this is that he'll develop into a much, much better shooter, and he's already has the mid-range game. But you're absolutely right. If you can't shoot a three, they're just going to pack it in, and it's going to be hard for him to score anywhere on the floor. But my feeling in my heart is that he has that ability, that he'll have enough people helping him and spending time with him, that the things that he's really good at right now aren't going to be real difficult for him. He is. He and Peterson and Boozer, those guys are going to have to be good shooters. And I think he'll develop into that. That's my take on it. We'll see what happens a year from now or 2 years from now. But I like his ability. I like his tenacity and his grit that he has to compete in the paint and in those areas. But you're all right. I mean, he's got to be able to shoot the three to make his game complete. And I believe he can do that, and hopefully that will happen.
Steve, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us as always. Enjoy the games, and we will talk to you next week when we have a much better read on these conference finals.
That's true. Hey, thanks, guys. Have a great week.
Steve Cleveland, former BYU and Fresno State basketball coach. All right, Ute fans, Dr. Chris Hill is coming up in studio. He's got a book out, Trip Down Memory Lane, a lot of stories, and also where is college sports going now with the playoffs, the TV deals, the potential realignment, all the NIL money piling up. We'll talk with Chris Hill coming up next. Stay with us.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.